I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, our national anthem. And now, our alma mater. And now our invocation. And now our principal, Mr. Grady.
Please be seated, kids. For the past 2 years, Scott Brady has served eminently well as the president of the class of 1993. He has a fine GPA, 3.61, and is particularly well known as the goalie on our highly successful lacrosse team, which this year posted an 11-8 record. He's played lacrosse for 4 years and been the varsity goalie for the past 2 years. Scott is a life scout with the Boy Scouts, and he's had a desire for a military career since an 8th grade visit to West Point with the Scouts. Starting in sophomore year, he actively pursued this objective, and he was nominated to West Point last year by our U.S. Congressman for the 11th District, Dean Gallo. Next Monday morning, when most of you will be relaxing from the last graduation party, Scott will be reporting for summer training at West Point, where he will become a member of the Long Gray Line as part of the class of 1997. It's my pleasure to present to you the president of the class of 1993, Scott Brady.
Good afternoon, everybody. When we think about what we want to be when we grow up, chances are we think about aspiring to the greatness of our heroes. But today I look around and see that our heroes have been corrupted by wealth and glory. Childhood heroes like Magic Johnson and Pete Rose have been tarnished by accusations of promiscuity and dishonesty. We are not that far away from being parents ourselves. Who will be the children's heroes from our generation? Will they be the pioneers of the space frontier? Or maybe their heroes will be the people who solve the problems of AIDS or the homeless. That is where all of us come in. Because what we need today are some authentic heroes. People who hold honesty and integrity above all else. We will be the leaders and heroes of the 21st century,
and we must realize that it is our duty to correct this morally decaying society and set an example for generations to come. My hope is that we hold our values and principles so close to our hearts that if they were to be compromised, we would pass away with them. I hope that you all succeed, not for me, not for your friends, your parents, not even for yourself, but for Mr. Lamp, because he has just informed me that we are running out of candidates for the Hall of Fame Day. And last, a sincere wish for good luck and a heartfelt goodbye. Thank you.
Although he is not retiring until December, after 32 years at Livingston High School, this is the last graduation ceremony in which our next speaker will participate. He has affected the lives of many of you who are graduating, as well as many of your parents who are in our audience. I've invited his lovely wife, Rachel, to join us at the podium today, and it's my distinct pleasure to present to you one of my vice principals, Mr. Eli Gorelick. Mr. Gorelick?
Thank you very much, Mr. Grady. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, and members of the great class of 1993. It is my distinct pleasure and pride to introduce to you Catherine Huang, the class salutatorian. According to Mrs. Huben, her math teacher, her personal charisma and great sense of humor are notable characteristics which identify her without any question. Catherine is truly a young woman for all seasons. Among her many academic achievements is the one where she was accepted as an early decision to Harvard University and where she plans to study for a career as a research scientist. I can bet that someday she will be involved in some major contribution to benefit humanity. After all, her peers voted her as one of 2 students in the class who are most likely to succeed. While at the high school, she was elected president of 3 different organizations. She's a fine viola player in our superb string orchestra, and her school and community contributions have been many, as she has always given extensively of herself, her time and efforts, be they tutoring students, teaching Spanish to our elementary school children, or as a volunteer at St. Barnabas Medical Center. Now, as a final tribute to her, the New York Times and the Encyclopedia Britannica, sponsors of the very prestigious Salute to Excellence program, have selected Catherine as one of the 400 outstanding scholars in the whole nation to participate in the program, and she will be traveling to Montana to attend the gathering of these bright, sharp minds. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 93 salutatorian, Catherine Huang.
Fellow graduates, families, friends, teachers, and administrators, good afternoon. We, the class of 1993, have successfully made it through 4 years of high school. And throughout these years, we've often asked our teachers, why should we learn math? Why bother studying literature? But what we often don't realize is that LHS has taught us much more beyond algebra and Shakespeare. Spending over 5,000 hours together in this building, we learned to cooperate and to communicate with each other. We built friendships based on trust and learned to respect our peers and our teachers. Testing out our identities as individuals, we learned to maintain our independent thinking and our personal values. Now as we leave behind our sheltered lives, and enter society as independent, responsible citizens, we have an obligation to continue using the values that we have learned at LHS and in our homes. Here we've become accustomed to living and working with people of different nationalities and religions, so we're well prepared to serve as models of racial harmony in our new settings. Throughout our high school years, we've also learned to communicate effectively, to cooperate with our peers. In fact, we became masters at uniting ourselves, if only to consolidate our forces to convince the teacher to postpone the test. Now we can use this ability to work together, to help the homeless, to protest an unfair law, and perhaps to convince the college professor to postpone the exam. Our experiences at LHS also taught us how to be individuals without sacrificing our relationships with other people. Though we were busy cramming for our own tests, we could still find time to answer desperate calls for help, even when they came after midnight. Despite pressures for us to excel, we didn't forget to help out our classmates. In the years to come, we'll be furthering our own careers, or maybe still cramming for tests. But hopefully, we'll remember to lend a hand to our peers. Remember, too, that we are also responsible for perpetuating the values of family. Our parents and elders have taught us to care for those younger than us, and to respect those who are older and more experienced. Now these values must be applied inside the homes that we may one day build, so that we can strive to be both nurturing parents and grateful children. So to all the moms and dads, sisters and brothers, friends and teachers, thanks. Thanks for giving us all the values and ideals that we will carry with us into the future. We, the class of 1993, are now ready for our new lives. Thank you.
And now the senior class administrator, as well as our other vice principal, Mr. Gerald Walker. Mr. Walker.
First, congratulations to each and every member of the class of 1993, and good luck. The young man who I'm about to introduce to you is quiet, unassuming, and reserved. And yet, by anyone's standards, he is a very formidable competitor in the academic world, as well as in the area of fine arts. He has never earned a grade lower than an A in any course that he has taken in his 4-year stay here at Livingston High School. With SAT and achievement scores that are out of sight, coupled with an extremely high level of achievement in his courses, is it any wonder that he is a member of the National Honor Society? He distinguished himself as the #1 second-year biology student in the state of New Jersey in the state Science Day competition. He has also received very significant high ranking and recognition in the state's math competitions. This year, he was first in the state in the National Spanish exam, and in fact, during his junior year, ranked #2 in the state and 8th in the nation. Is it any wonder he's a member of the Spanish Honor Society? His guidance counselor, Mrs. Rosenthal, has said of the valedictorian, he demonstrates extraordinary maturity and perseverance in his academic and extracurricular pursuits. John is a hard worker and yet enjoys relaxing. When he does, he relaxes by reading classical literature, playing his violin or clarinet, or gardening. He demonstrates commitment to his community through volunteer work at a local nursing home. He preserves his heritage by tutoring other students in his native tongue. And incidentally, you might be interested in knowing that John speaks 5 languages: Chinese, Taiwanese, Spanish, Latin, and of course English. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the young man voted the most intellectual in the senior class and the most likely to succeed by his peers. He's a National Merit Scholarship winner and has achieved a GPA of 4.585. That's what I said. Wow. His academic competency, his sense of commitment, and his passions will all grace the campus of Harvard University. May I present to you and to the class the valedictorian for this year's class of 1993, John Yang.
Good afternoon. Greetings, faculty, administration, parents, relatives, friends, and fellow members of the class of 1993. We are assembled here today to celebrate one of the most important transitions in our lives. We have worked for approximately 13 years to reach this day, and finally, we have arrived at our high school graduation, the culmination of all our academic experiences up until this juncture in our lives. Today, as we look to the future, we should reflect upon and re-evaluate the changes that have taken place over the course of our stay at Livingston High School. The majority of us first entered the doors of LHS as insecure, naive freshmen, unaware of which paths our lives would take. Now, nearly 4 years later, we find ourselves graduating as dramatically transformed individuals. We have gained confidence and maturity, academically as well as socially. Many of us walk out of these doors with definite career plans and lifelong ambitions. The history of mankind has been documented for thousands of years, and while we may have spent but 4 years here at Livingston High School, these were undoubtedly some of the most significant 4 years ever in the course of human events. We have witnessed the crumbling of the Berlin Wall and the subsequent reunification of East and West Germanies. We have watched communism fall all over Eastern Europe, and the former Soviet Union now exists as a community of independent states. Finally, who can ever forget the Persian Gulf War, in which hundreds of brave American men and women, as well as individuals of other nations, made the ultimate sacrifice, their lives, in their courageous efforts to preserve world peace and stability. Presently, our world is filled with many uncertainties and challenges. We have not yet eliminated the evils of racism. The situation in the former Yugoslavia is worsening day by day. There is still no cure for AIDS, and our natural environment has been and continues to be damaged by our actions. As we graduate today, we must ask ourselves how we can contribute to the resolution of these problems and others. Perhaps sitting among us right now is the scientist who will discover the cure for AIDS or cancer, a future Nobel Peace Prize recipient, or a future president of the United States of America. LHS has given us the tools to succeed. It is now our responsibility to make use of and expand upon what we have learned here as we become tomorrow's leaders and thinkers. We have each earned the distinction of being called graduates of the Livingston High School class of 1993. This day will forever remain in our memories, long after the pages of our yearbooks have faded and our Livingston Lancers sweatshirts have worn out. High school only comes around once in our lifetimes, and we have truly made the most of this monumental period in our lives. To all of you, best of luck in your future endeavors, and thanks for the memories.
Thank you, John. I described the class of '93 in a yearbook as the type of group in which this country depends for backbone. The vast majority of you truly understand the meaning of having values. In their speeches, John, Catherine, and Scott refer to this need, and most of you have shown over the 4 years that you've been here that you are women and men of integrity. You've been both cooperative and assertive, No one on the staff of LHX is anxious to see you leave. We don't say that about every class. Academically, you're less intense than some of our recent classes, but you've done well. 21 of you have GPAs over 4.0. There are 8 National Merit finalists, and many of you excelled on SATs, AP, and achievement tests. There are 299 of you who are eligible to graduate at the beginning of the 4th marking period, and every one of you are graduating. Congratulations. $234 of you will go to a 4-year college, and 39 will attend a 2-year school. That's a 92% figure. 7 of you are going to technical schools. 9 will go to work in full-time permanent positions, while 5 of you will enter the military. Only 5 of you are undecided as to what it is you're going to do. Our publications have been outstanding. We are indebted to Amy Zornitzer, Jen Saul, and Kevin Lee for their efforts on the Lance. Actually, Kevin is so good at desktop publishing that we can't afford to allow him to graduate at all. Inner Voices, our literary magazine, reached new heights, and we thank SUNY, Paul Levin, and Brent Ye. Crossroads, our yearbook, is outstanding. Our thanks to Lindsay Greenberg, Mary Laudicetta, and Kristen Toison. Our TV studio continues to flourish. Julie and Rick Harris headlined Good Morning LHS, and Adam Balkin found a career with Online Live. Behind the scenes, however, the efforts of Phil Dornfeld were indispensable, and Josh Levy was simply always there. The senior video is an example of this. We have 12 students who have been part of our wonderful alternative school program, and we take special pride in what each of you have accomplished. Joe Babbage has made the trek every day for 4 years to the part-time program at the Votech School in West Caldwell. You knew what you wanted, and you did it, Joe. Behind us on the podium, from left to right, are the flags of Brazil, Finland, and Italy. Livingston High School has always had a strong AFS tradition. And this year, Eduardo Oliveira from Brazil and Maria Elisa Pieri from Italy represent AFS, while Petra Amanov from Finland represents Rotary. The 3 of you have been a special addition to the class of '93, and we thank the Wolfsons, the Valentines, and the Kushaisto families for opening their families to you. I had a note from Eduardo yesterday that I want to share with you. It said, Mr. Grady, I just want to say thanks to you and all the other people who promote this fabulous year for me. I'm very happy because I lived my AFS experience in a wonderful town and studied in a terrific school. In LHS, I could do things that I could never do in my very formal school in Brazil. So I want you to know that I am very glad to graduate with the class of '93. Thanks a lot. Thanks to you, Eduardo. Once again, Key Club took #1 in the state of New Jersey. Our thanks to Jared Shapiro, Stacy Blasberg, and the senior Key Clubbers. Val Darmanin and Jen Saul brought many honors to us through FBLA. Our pride, however, extends to many of you who have dealt with severe personal adversities, from recovery from drug abuse to the unusually high number of you who have lost a parent, but you have kept going every day. Some of you fall into my category of unsung heroes. In our CIP program, which has grown beyond our wildest expectations, Mark Conrads and Samantha Garabedian are always there to give 110%. One of you has been active for years as a licensed EMT working with the East Hanover Rescue Squad and the Parsippany Fire Department. Lucas, you literally have given thousands of hours, and we're very proud of what you've done for your fellow man. A school objective for LHS this year has been to deal with gender bias. Society seems to finally be dealing with this all-important issue, as has the AAUW, which has been in the forefront. Change can only come, however, by standing up and making a difference. In the last issue of The Lance, Lisa Kim did just that. Everyone should read the article. It took guts, Lisa. Congratulations. George Reimer, who has broken most of the swimming records at LHS, is not with us today because he's at the pre-Olympic finals in Colorado Springs for 10 days. Good luck, George. All through school, the class of '93 has been blessed with outstanding leadership. Your prom was superb, as have all the events leading to project graduation. We are so very proud of each of you and all of your accomplishments, but you're ready for the next stage of life. Each of you is a testament to the hard work of your teachers as well as the effort, sacrifice, and love that has been given to you by your parents and families. Always continue to do your best. Have a happy life. The highest academic honor which is awarded at Livingston High School is the Academic Excellence Medallion. It is given at graduation to seniors who have a 4.0 or higher grade point average over 4 years. Each year, since we have set the 4.0 standard, the number has been high. This year, we have 21 individuals with GPAs which range from 4.020 to John's amazing 4.585. It is an astounding number, and we are very proud of each of you who have achieved this goal. Will each of you please come to the podium as we read your names so that Dr. Kish can present the medallion to you. John Yang, Catherine Wang, Senwar Akhtar, Valerie Darmanin, Eric Gall, Lori Hare, Alexander Jarvanot, Jessica Kerner, Bryn Klasky, Alexis Connor, Paul Levin, Amy Lickman, Joshua Lipman, Ian Powell, Jennifer Rodberg, Marnie Rosenberg, Jennifer Rubinacci, Anjana Samant, Abbott Wang, Jean Wang, Amy Zornitzer. Thanks, kids. And now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce to each of you the Superintendent of the Livingston School System, Dr. Robert Kish. Dr. Kish.
Thank you, Mr. Grady. Graduates, parents, faculty, friends. Graduates of the school district, better than anyone else, are aware of the immense academic pressure to know it all. It's probably true that at this stage in your life, you believe that knowing it all is, if not yet achieved, an attainable goal. I, on the other hand, have found that the older I become, the less I know. When I was young and didn't know anybody, hadn't done anything or been anywhere, I was very certain of a great deal. I could see that the old folks who were in charge of running the world were confused and ineffective. My fellow kids and I could identify all sorts of mistakes being made continuously by grown-ups, teachers, preachers, the government, the press, and of course by parents. Any one of us could have written a textbook on what it is our parents were doing wrong. Back then, when I knew it all, I never worried about my own ignorance. It never even occurred to me that I was ignorant. But now that I've seen a little more of the world, the things I am absolutely sure of are fewer, and the things I know nothing about have proliferated. You might be consoled by the realization that it is actually liberating and exhilarating to be relieved of the crushing responsibility of knowing it all. We can stop spending a good deal of a part of our lives trying desperately to convince ourselves, as well as everybody else, that we know more than we really do. Once we accept and acknowledge our own ignorance, we can stand in a great library, look at the tall shelves of books, and respect even more the collected wisdom of the ages. We should not make the mistake, however, of not understanding that in some instances it is also the collective foolishness of the ages. In 1898, the head of the U.S. Patent Office wrote a letter to President McKinley urging that the Patent Office be shut down permanently since, as he put it, everything that can be invented has already been invented. A couple of years ago, Ronald Duncan and Miranda Weston Simon compiled an encyclopedia of ignorance, 443 pages exploring some of that vast land of terra incognita. Here's a partial list of the things the experts don't know. Astronomers don't know the size, shape, or origin of the universe. They don't know if there's anybody out there, never mind intelligent life. They don't know whether there's any life at all except for right here. They also don't know whether any stars, other than our sun, have planets. Their ignorance is, as any of them will tell you, astronomical. Economists or a group are not as humble as astronomers, but no two economists seem to agree on anything. If there is one economist who is right, it follows that all the other economists must therefore be wrong. So far in the history of economics, any economist who has been proved right in the short run has also turned out to be wrong in the long run. Medicine has made enormous strides, we're told, but for all the money and effort that has been spent, we still don't know what causes cancer. We keep hearing about breakthroughs in arthritis, but when you get arthritis, they tell you aspirin is the best treatment they've got for it. About half the scientists who study the subject will tell you that the Earth's atmosphere is heating up. The other half insists it's cooling off. We still don't know what killed off the dinosaurs. If the past is clouded, the future is more so. Niels Bohr, the Danish scientist, once said, "Forecasting is difficult, especially when it's about the future." Futurists argue about how things will turn out tomorrow and where they're headed. Historians can't agree about what happened yesterday and how we got where we are now. A historian once wrote, "As I look down the invisible pathway of the future, I can see clearly before me the footprints of the hand of fate." In summary, I think you can take comfort in knowing that you don't know it all and never will, nor should you be expected to. You can also take comfort in that though you may be embarrassed about your ignorance, there's a great deal of which we as a civilization are also ignorant. I tell you this not to create yet another responsibility or compulsion, but rather to liberate you through your acknowledgement of both of these conditions. Only out of the recognition of ignorance can come discovery, and there is so much to discover. The world awaits what someday you may teach. Congratulations, and God bless you. I present to you, Mr. August, Livingston High School's class of 1993 as having met the graduation requirements as stipulated by the Livingston Board of Education and the state of New Jersey.
First, I'd like to welcome all the parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters, and friends of the class of 1993 to this joyous event. And to the young ladies and gentlemen of the graduating class, in a few minutes you will each have a new title in life, alumni of Livingston High School. However, I'd like to make a small bet with each of you. When you reach my age and are sitting in some high school football field, in the stands, watching your children graduate, each one of you will have a chill running down your spine, a heaviness of pride in your heart, and each one of you will think back to this exact date and time. And as a matter of fact, your whole high school career will flash before you. And the bet is this, that each one of you will remember your high school times as some of the happiest times of your life. So tonight, at Project Graduation, try and say something to every person, no matter how well you may know them, because each one of you is part of everyone else. And no matter how hard you try, The class of 1993 will never be assembled together as it is today. It's a great time to say thanks to each other for being part of your life. The future is yours. I hope it brings you nothing but happiness. It is a pleasure to accept the class of 1993 graduating on behalf of the Board of Education. Congratulations and best of luck to you and your families. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. August, and now the diplomas. The first 6 graduates of the class of 1993, John L. Yang, Catherine K.Yi Huang, Scott Edward Brady, Andrew Lyle Schwartz, Susan Eileen Nave, Kimberly Jill Bayer. Hold on. You ready? You have your list?
Yeah, I have the list. Senwan Umayan Akhtar, Kristen M. Albright, Petra Amanoff, Jeannie An, Isabel Anita Baghdad, Michelle Erin Battaglia, Nicole Danielle Batista, Nicole Christy Beltram, Sasha Bauman Benson, Stacy Lauren Blasberg, Susanna Jean Brick, Elise Nicole Calandrillo, Karen Lee Capoli, Andrea Serkanowitz, Dominic M. Abatino, Mark Anthony Altieri, Robert Stewart Aronson, Joseph Anthony Babbage, Barujan Babumian, Charles H. Bay, Adam Todd Bagoon, Adam David Balkin, Kevin Andrew Barnett, Alex J. Berger, Jared Michael Berlin, Mark David Valencia, Brian Joseph Boyle, Keith Joseph Caggiano, Aaron Neil Kasser, Christopher Stephen Kavanaugh, Myung Jin Choi, Craig Connolly, Mark David Conrads, William T. Conway Jr.
Jennifer F. Choi, Elaine Chu, Diana Elizabeth Cirillo, Megan Eileen Collins, Hashana Conley, Gina Maria Costa, Suzanne Michelle Saplicki, Anna Maria DeCuna, Valerie L. Darmanin, Robin Barry Diskin, Anna Maria Dobeck, Ann Donnelly, Karen Stacy Edelman, Melissa P. Faulkner, Deborah Rebecca Friedman, Samantha Jane Garabedian, Randy Beth Garber, Denise Gebro, Jana Geisen, Anna Glaz, Mark Coogan, Kenneth Adam Korn, John Cranko, Joseph P. Cullen, Kevin Lamont Daniel, Suni DeFontenay, Christian Deanny, J. David Dorfman, Philip W. Dornfeld, Joseph DeRosa, Zachary William Edelman, Daniel Justin Elkinson, Richard C. Elsman, Andrew M. Englander, Christopher Michael Erb, Gregory S. Ernst, Stephen Warren Fass, Brett David Ferdinand, Scott Evan Brotman, Lucas Evan First.
Karen Beth Goldenkrantz, Ariel Rebecca Goldklang, Alexia Gravanis, Heidi C. Greco, Stephanie Lauren Green, Lindsay Sloan Greenberg, Nisha Bakshi Grover, Carrie Jane Groves, Chelsea Joy Handler, Julie Paulette Harris, Jamie Elizabeth Hartwick, Lori Michelle Hare, Tracy Christine Hendershot, Christy Marie Hess, Janine Renee Hollop, Carol Ann Houston, Laura Michelle Jetter, Andres Lauren Julius, Melissa F. Cantor, Farah Joy Katz, Evan R. Gallinson, Dominic M. Garabedian, Eric Douglas Gebro, Dave Giordano, Kenneth Scott Goldstein, Eric Stephen Gall, Matthew D. Goodman, Matthew Ian Gore, Christian Matthew Goff, Ryan David Graham, Alexander Granofsky, Paul M. Green, Richard Scott Gross, Jason Elliott Halper, Rick Andrew Harris, Brian Neil Healy, Mark Craig Henslowitz, Edward Stanley Wong, Anthony Ileggio,
Jessica Lauren Kerner, Lisa Jiwon Kim, Bryn Rachel Klasky, Alexis Perry Connor, Jill Stephanie Kornfeld, Sherry Diane Kramp, Monica Kumar, Khani Karen Kushuk, Mary Eileen Ladlacetta, Celia Marissa Lage, Nicole Marie Lamort, Karen Lee, Tara Michelle Lennon, Maureen J. Leon, Amy Brooke Lickman, Myra Lim, Tara Stacy Litwin, Elaine Lowe, Lori Michelle Mangan, Courtney Lynn Meltzer, E. Alexander Jarvanot, Albert Howard Cass, Matthew Ian Kepnes, Chong Kim, Stephen Kim, Creighton Kodak, Eric Michael Kopczynski, Aaron David Kroll, Joseph S. Lee, Kevin Lee, Seung C. Lee, Joseph A. Lewan, Paul Andrew Levin, Joshua M. Levy, Jonathan E. Linden, Joshua N. Littman, Brian A. Maloof, Ilya Manovich, Ross Michael Markowitz, Jacob John Matthew, Michael E. Mattia,
Michelle Messina, Danata K. Majuta, Lizette Mizrahi, Rebecca Moalem, Allison Nicole Morrow, Marie Caitlin Nealon, Elizabeth N. Nissim, Jana Lee Novich, Monica Nowakowski, Andrea Galen O'Malley, Helene Beth Oppenheimer, Julia Irene Oppenheimer, Tara Lynn Oremus, Jennifer Sarah Ostrup, Seema D. Parikh, Kriti Patel, Rebecca Susan Perlman, Marie Lisa Pieri, Crystal Pete, Ilona Revich, Michael Patrick McCracken, Brian Anthony Meyerhofer, David John Malucci, Scott Henry Menegas, James Meow, John Paul Milani, Stephen Brian Mursky, Daniel Aaron Murray, Jiman Myung, Marvin J. Napoli, David Justin Naylor, Eduardo Oliveira, Tyler Graham Ox, Glenn Robert Oremus, Arthur John O'Toole, June H. Park, Milan Patel, John Petrullo, Ian Mark Powell, Neil Ryan Press.
Deborah Lynn Richmond, Debbie Angela Riga, Jessica Rimelis, Alicia Beth Roberts, Jennifer Lauren Rodberg, Yael Marcy Ron, Melissa Rapati, Marnie Lee Rosenberg, Ruth Rosliniak, Jennifer Joy Ross, Jennifer Ellen Rubinacci, Jennifer Lee Russo, Jody Ann Saperstein, Melissa Lori Salas, Angela Samant, Stacy Michelle Satsky, Erica Lynn Sauer, Jennifer Gail Saul, Marcy Lynn Simplensky, Ripka Sethi, Marco Rubin. Jose Rebolo, Paul Mitchell Ritter, Hector Jose Rodriguez, Roderick Rodriguez, Rudolph Joseph Rodriguez, Blake Daniel Rosenthal, Eric J. Rothfeld, Aran Salant, Gerard Salerno, Frank Savastano, Jason Matthew Scala, Brad Scher, Jeffrey Schulberg, Michael Eric Schultz, Robert C. Holster, Sean T. Sexton, Stuart Schalberg, Jared Brock Shapiro, Michael F. Shaughnessy,
Rita Sharma, Patricia Scheel, Michelle Shin, Sonia Shin, Krista Seaman, Andrea Lauren Silverstein, Jody Michelle Sims, Jennifer Lynn Smarsh, Melanie Suzanne Smith, Pravina S. Solanki, Melissa Amy Soren, Manira Subesic, Fiorina Teta, Vanessa Tacona, Linda Toupé, Jean Tseng, Kristen Twazan, Carrie-Ann Melissa Tucker, Carmi R. Uglo, Nalima Villavolu, Yaron Shemesh, Richard Ian Slifer, Jonathan David Sloan, Peter Soldinger, Yale Martin Summer, Richard D. Strawman, Michael David Sumner, Jason M. Switzer, Matthew Charles Tahaney, Edmund S. Ty, Stephen Tran, Giancarlo Valdivia, Robert Louis Venza, Michael Burbitsky, Linwood A. Walker Jr., David Eric Wanderman, Abbott S. Wang, Judd S. Weinberg, Brian J. Waziziak, Darren R. Williams,
Brett Kara Wagman, Karina A. Warziniak, Jan Victoria Weinberg, Jean Young Wang, Donna J. Wolfskill, Lisa J. Yang, Allison Barbara Yoser. Kara Michelle Zamelski. Amy Melissa Zornitzer. Gerard J. Wolf. Keith Wayne Woodishek. Kenneth Wu. Caesar A. Yagi. Brent M. Ye. And the last graduate, Ko Heo Yen.
Okay, guys, you can stand up. Please stand. Now we're going to take the tassel from the left side, or whichever side the wind has put it, and move it to the right side. Okay. All right, now you can sit. Good job. Could have done it in your seat, but gotta have some fun up here. And now I'd like to introduce the senior class treasurer and secretary, Kim Bayer and Susan Nabe.
When it came time for us to give something back to the school that has given us so much, it was a difficult decision. We asked each other what makes a great senior year, and the answer we came up with was school spirit and unity. In order to achieve that energy, we are giving Livingston High School a life-size Lancer mascot. It is our goal that at every home game, when that Lancer is running around elevating the crowd's enthusiasm, you will think of the class of '93 and smile. In addition, we will be donating a showcase to be played for speedball on the second floor.
For their hard work than our advisors, Mrs. Buno and Mrs. Cornell. Throughout every event, they were there to guide us, showing as much enthusiasm as we did and giving us the motivation to make each project the best. Without the assistance of these two extraordinary people, we would not be the successful class we are today. Not only are they our class advisors and teachers, but they are our friends as well. We cannot thank them enough for all the dedication they have shown to our class. However, we hope we can start by giving them these gifts as tokens of our appreciation. Thank you, we love you, and we will miss you.
All right, everyone up. It's time for the it's time for the hat toss. So take off your caps. Make sure you take off the tassel. All right, now watch. There's a strong wind to my left, so we don't want to take out any of the spectators. So try to give them a nice shot up that way, okay? All right, here we go, guys. On three. That's 1, 2, 3. No, well, no, not yet. We'll do it again. Come on. 1, 2, 3.
I went to Mount Pleasant.
I went to Riker Hill. I also went to Count School.
I was a patrol, and I always got cones, which was the worst job. I had to stand out in front of the school and wait for the bus to come, move the cones, and when the bus left, I had to put it back. And it was the worst job because it always rains, and I had to stand out in the rain every morning.
I was captain of the patrols, you know. Got to let move the cones and let the cars in and stuff. I felt, you know, pretty important.
Jill Kornfeld and I used to go to her house, and she has this mirror, and we used to play Madonna music, and we used to try to dress up like her, and we would dance and watch ourselves dance through the mirror.
For Harrison, our school. That's the only part I remember to it.
We were playing Boys Chase Girls, and I was wearing a button-down dress, and Don was chasing me, and the buttons undid and flew open, and I ran into the room, and I was crying.
I was Rocky the Snowman in 3rd grade, and it was very funny. I had like a Walkman and everything. I had like a piece of paper as my snowman in front, and I had boxing hooks and everything. I had to run around and box people. That was my role.
They used to show in Harrison Friday afternoons. They used to show movies in the gymnasium. I don't know if anybody else remembers this, but they always showed these really corny movies, and the one I remember in particular was like Benji Goes to Paris or something like that. And they always sold this horrible popcorn, and we always had such a good time.
Middle schools. What a scary time this was. Big schools. Too big. Social pressures. Gawky stages. Fighting with our friends. Making up with our friends. Changing friends. Do you remember what we looked like?
In 7th grade, my hair was stick straight. It was flat and ugly and absolutely disgusting, and I had bangs that came up to like there. I looked like the biggest idiot.
I think what we did was we all wanted to look so much older, so you thought that if you put on a lot of makeup, a lot of blush, bright colors.
In 7th grade, I didn't really wear much makeup. I'm not into like so much makeup, but my hair was up to there, perms, like tighter than Melissa's, tightest little perm, and my bangs were up to there, and I couldn't do my bangs either. I had a problem, like I couldn't do them. It was kind of funny.
My hair was long once. I remember when we were in Camp Bernie, Chris Kavanaugh started a food fight, cafeteria. Big mess, we all had to clean it up.
We had to go sit in a little special area at the campfire, and we weren't allowed to join in any of the fun because of how bad we were.
I remember when Josh Levy, Glenn Arenas, and myself took out a rowboat on that little, dirty, nasty pond, and we went in the middle of it, and we tossed the thing that measures the depth of the, or how far you can see down to the water. We just tossed it overboard, and it sank. We all got in trouble for that. It was beautiful.
I remember at Camp Bernie, Jen Saul and I got the cabin. Well, everyone in the cabin wanted to get up in the morning and take a shower, and Jen Saul said that she would get up first. But for some odd reason, we couldn't read the swatch in the morning with the lights out. So by accident, we all got up an hour early, and everyone was dressed before everyone else got up.
I never shouted. It's a man, it's all right. Caution makes it all right. It's a man, it's all right. All right.
In middle school, we thought we were so cool. High school seemed like a myth. In a sense,
like every group had their own little cliques and like the booths and the Jeffs and the jocks and whatever, but I think like as we got to seniors, like people who thought they were enemies didn't even care anymore because it was like, it wasn't even a big deal. We were just seniors, and it just like seemed like everyone should just party together and have a good time. So I don't know, I think everyone definitely got closer.
Four years at LHS were definitely interesting, a bit peculiar and a bit crazy, and I'm glad to be moving on in my life. And it was definitely interesting. And here's my close friend Marvin, and maybe he has a few words to say.
Well, this is only my first year at the high school, but it was great. It went by really fast, and made a lot of good friends.